Kierkegaard. Why anxiety can transform you. Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher, often credited as the father of existentialism, didn't see anxiety, or angst as he termed it, as a mere pathology to be medicated away. Far from it. He viewed it as an essential, profound, and ultimately transformative human experience. For Kierkegaard, this deep-seated feeling is not the same as fear. Fear has a specific object, a snake, a failing grade, a job loss. Anxiety, however, is a dizzying feeling associated with the concept of freedom itself, a primal reaction to the infinite possibilities and radical responsibility of existence. The paradox of anxiety and freedom. Kierkegaard delves into this concept most thoroughly in his 1844 work, The Concept of Anxiety. He argues that anxiety first enters the world through the biblical story of Adam. Before eating from the tree of knowledge, Adam was innocent, not yet knowing the difference between good and evil. Yet, a peculiar state existed, the anxiety of the forbidden. God commanded him not to eat the fruit. This command, by its very nature, introduced the possibility of transgression. Adam felt the pull of this possibility, not yet as a guilty sinner, but as a being caught in the dreaming spirit of innocence. His anxiety was a sympathetic antipathy and an antipathetic sympathy, a terrifying attraction to the unknown consequences of his own freedom. This primal anxiety is repeated in every individual's life. It's the condition of becoming. We are born innocent, but we quickly become aware of our capacity to choose. This is the key. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. When we look out over a cliff, we don't just fear falling, a specific fear, we experience a chilling sense of our own power to jump. That feeling, the terrifying realization that we are the origin of our actions, and, therefore, the origin of our destiny, is Kierkegaardian anxiety. It is the vast, unsettling recognition of the not yet of our being. Moving beyond the finite, the leap of faith. Why is this transformative? Because this anxiety compels us to stop living in the aesthetic stage and move toward the ethical and, ultimately, the religious stages of existence. 1. The aesthetic life. This is the life of immediacy, pleasure, and distraction. The person in this stage avoids deep, soul-shaking anxiety by constantly seeking novelty and fleeting enjoyment. They are trying to numb the profound realization of their selfhood. This stage eventually leads to despair because it fails to engage with the eternal aspects of the self. 2. The ethical life. When the aesthetic life collapses under the weight of its own meaninglessness, anxiety forces a commitment to moral principles, duty, and the universal. The individual chooses to be a good spouse, a responsible citizen, etc. This is a step up, defining oneself through commitment, but it is still finite. 3. The religious life. Kierkegaard believed that the ultimate transformation occurs when the anxiety of freedom forces a leap of faith. The ethical stage deals with universal, rational categories, but true existence requires confronting the absurd, the paradoxes of faith that transcend human reason. This is the most intense form of anxiety, as it involves a personal, isolated decision that cannot be justified by any social rule or logical system. The individual stands alone before God, or the Absolute, taking on the burden of their own subjective truth. This leap transforms the self because it moves the individual from a state of possibility, the dizzying anxiety, to a state of actuality, the chosen self. The anxious person is the one who sees the possibility of truly becoming who they are meant to be, not what society or routine dictates. Anxiety is the midwife of the self. The contemporary value of Kierkegaard's insight. In our modern world, we are masterful at escaping Kierkegaardian anxiety. We have infinite distractions, streaming services, social media feeds, constant productivity demands, all designed to keep us focused on the finite and the external. We often label any deep unease as a disorder to be treated, thus robbing it of its spiritual potential. Kierkegaard teaches us to treat anxiety as an educational tool. Instead of running from that familiar feeling of existential dread, the tightness in your chest that whispers, "Is this all there is?" we should learn to sit with it. He would urge us to ask, what possibility am I refusing to actualize? What choice am I avoiding by staying distracted? What is the deepest, most terrifying choice I need to make to become my authentic self? Embracing this anxiety means accepting the sheer weight of your own existence, that you are not merely a product of your circumstances, but a self-choosing, possibility-laden being. It is only through facing the terror of this absolute freedom that the self can truly be forged. Anxiety, in this view, is not a stumbling block. It is the trembling, necessary springboard from which we launch ourselves into an authentic, deeply meaningful life. If Kierkegaard's intense dive into the human condition has resonated with your quiet moments of contemplation, take a moment to engage with this conversation. Hit that like button to let us know this content sparks your own existential curiosity. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the minds that shape how we view the world. And most importantly, drop a comment below telling us, has your own anxiety ever led you to a breakthrough moment? Let's discuss the terrifying gift of Angst. XXX.